Alright, what's going on? Today we're going to be looking at how to change personal moveset data for Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. So if you want to make your own ROM hack, we're going to be going over things like how do I change moves a Pokemon can learn, like TMs. We're going to be going over how to change types, stats, abilities, and even different move data. So if you're interested in all of that for making your own ROM hack, keep watching the rest of this video. We're going to need to go into our tutorial folder. This tutorial folder is linked in the description, so if you want to follow along and make your own ROM hack, you can absolutely go ahead and do that. It's just click download in the Google Drive and you'll get this whole set of tools that I use for my Black 2 hack. So we're going to be using Pokemon ROM Changer to Black White 2. If you're using Pokemon Black and White, you'll have to look up the black and white version of this. It should be pretty easy to find, just search in Pokemon ROM Changer. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up Pokemon ROM Changer as PRC BW2. So just click that, it should launch pretty quickly. And we have this editor right here. What we're going to do with this is we're going to go File, Open, and we have to be very careful with this editor. It only allows us to change vanilla unedited ROMs. So once you have your black2.nds file that we got in a previous video, we're going to want to open the vanilla ROM. We can only make changes to vanilla ROMs, and we just save them on this vanilla ROM, and then we extract them, and we will put them on our ROM we want to actually change. We can do a lot of different things. We can edit base stats. So if you've ever gone on Showdown or something, you'll know that each Pokemon has base stats. You can just change these with like the up and down arrows, or you can just type in something. I believe they go from 0 to 255, so you could have up to 255 in special attack on like a Bulbasaur, for instance. It has different held item slots, so I think the one on the left is the common one, so if you encounter this in the wild, it will be holding this item, so you could give it, I don't know, like a tomato berry or something. You could give it whatever you want. You can choose different abilities, so ability 1 is in this slot, ability 2 is in this slot, and its hidden ability is in slot 3. So if I want to give it chlorophyll, I can just type C and it'll set me into the C category, and I double click, boom, now I have chlorophyll. We can change gender ratio, EXP growth, these are all just drop down menus. These are pretty self-explanatory. And you can also change the type. So let's say I wanted Bulbasaur just to be only a grass type, I'd change this poison also to grass. So if you want it to be mono type, you just have the same type in both categories. So you can check in like Charmander, which is just a mono fire type. You can have fire in both slots, then it'll be a mono fire type. If you want to get rid of EVs for your hack, you have to go manually and set these all to 0, which is kind of annoying, but that's just the way it is. And you can also change their catch rate. So this goes from 0 to 255, so if I want it to be easy to catch, I could maybe just set it to like 230 or something, so most of the time it'll just catch it. Another thing to note is that you can change TMs here just by checking the box or not. And you can apply all TMs or no TMs. I would not recommend hitting those buttons because this actually makes the change immediately and there's no way to undo it. So be very careful with these unless you actually want to change those. Another thing you can do with this tool is to use the evolution editor. So if I want to change how Charmeleon evolves, I can change the method. So there's a lot of different methods that are coded into the game. So we could have things like Wormadam and Mothim evolve only with certain genders as well as levels. There's level up in different locations. So we could do level up near an ice rock. And the condition, depending on what type of evolution you have set, you can change the condition. So for instance, I could do evolves into Charmeleon after using blank on this Pokemon. I could change the condition to be a different item. Now, you might have a problem with this because not every item is coded to be able to be used on a Pokemon. They might be only to be given to them. So I could look up Leaf Stone. I could use a Leaf Stone, but I might not be able to use, say, a Master Ball because I normally can't use that on a Pokemon. So you have to be a little careful with this. You might get some bugs. but if the item can be normally used on a Pokemon, then you should be able to use that as an evolution item. What I like to do is change everything to level up, so that'll be just level up, and then I can change the condition. I just change the number, so maybe I want it to be like a level 10 instead. I just hit OK, and maybe I want to evolve it into like something crazy, so like a Moongus, almost, and that's it. That's really it. That's all there is to it. It's very, very user-friendly. Another thing you can do with this is change your moves, so actual move data. This is a really, really useful tool. There's a lot of options, so you can scroll through and just like check out different moves. So maybe we go into like, I don't know, Icy Wind. Let's go look at Icy Wind. We'll notice that it has a base power, an accuracy, PP, and you can even change the priority of the move. So if you want to have like a priority Icy Wind, you can do that. You can give it multi-hit, you can give it trap turns, crit, flinch, and the effect code is what tells it what to do. So this is the slowing effect. So you're going to want effect code number 70, and that will activate the drop the speed stat by 1. So this is something you have to play around with. There's a lot of different combinations you can do, and sometimes they just won't work. One thing that I have encountered when I've been doing my ROM hacks is that when you want recharge moves like Hyper Beam, you'll notice that there's no place in here that really says where it's recharging. One of these unknown bytes is the recharge. I'm not sure which it is, so you're gonna have to play around with that and figure that out. I believe these unknown bytes have to do with whether or not it can go through Protect, whether or not there's recharge, and whether or not it's making contact with that Pokemon or not. So like, you know, activating Iron Barbs requires you to make contact. I think that's one of these. So you're gonna have to go through yourself and like figure out what unknown byte corresponds to what just by, you know, looking at it. But most of the time you can just get away with changing the effect. So if maybe you want a certain move effect, just look at a move in this list that has a similar effect. So let's say you want like a move that could burn but also does recoil. You could just get Flare Blitz and take that effect code. So it would be 253, and it would heal you by negative 33%. That's the recoil. You could say, okay, it inflicts burn, blah blah blah. You could basically take this code and put it on a different move if you wanted to like reskin a move or something. So this is really useful. You can change what kind of category it is. You'll definitely need to change this depending on how you want the move to interact. So if you want to do something like Thunder Wave where it just inflicts status, that's the no damage inflict status. If you want something like Thunderbolt where it damages and then maybe does a status, you want to hit damage and then inflict status. And there's other things like damage plus user stat, minus user stat. You have one-hit KO moves. There's a lot of different things to play around with. I would suggest that you just explore the different categories and honestly just test these things out for yourself. But this tool really has it all for Black 2 and White 2. So once we're done changing stuff, maybe I make Flare Blitz like 130 power. I hit OK. When I want to save this, it actually overwrites the exact ROM you opened. It doesn't create a new ROM, so be careful with this. So I hit Save ROM, and if I were to let's actually check Bulbasaur. Okay, so Bulbasaur is 255 right now. Let's exit out of this. Let's open it back up. We'll open the exact same ROM, and you'll notice that Bulbasaur has its stats changed. So we've actually changed the base ROM. Now, one thing that you probably are wondering is like, okay, how do I get these pieces of data, like your TMs, your abilities, your moves, how do I get that onto a different ROM? So that's where Tink is going to come in. So we're going to go back to our tutorial folder, and we're going to open up Tink. This should be you should be able to download this online if you can't get it from the Google Drive. We're going to go go into our tutorial folder and open up our edited trainers. So if you are following along with this series and you've already watched that, you'll know that we changed a ROM already. So let's wait for it to open. Alright, so Tink opens up, and you'll notice we have this thing called A0, 1, 2, and 3, and those are all our narcs. So this is how Nintendo stores their data for the game. They're in different archives. So we can actually look at what these all are. The community has made this Black 2, White 2 narc list. I've mentioned this in other videos. there's a couple of different narcs that we want to look at. So we have personal. This is our stats, our abilities, basically everything that we've been changing. Actually, we want to open up Tink and grab the edited vanilla ROM that we had just changed. So we're gonna open that up and we're gonna go take a look at personal. So A016, and we're gonna extract that, and we're going to make a new folder. These folders are great. We're gonna call this personal, and we're gonna save this as personal.narc. Okay, save. That's great. I want to get evolutions since that's another thing we changed. So we're going to look for 019. 019. We're going to extract this. And we're going to make a new folder called evos, and we're going to just save this as evolutions.narc. It doesn't matter what you save it as long as you know what it's referring to. And the last one that we changed is our move data. So that's the stuff like what Flare Blitz does or whatever other move you want to change. You want to go a 0, and then instead of 1 we want 2, and then 1, and we're going to extract it and go to make a new folder, say moves, and we'll just say moves.narc. And save it, and then we're gonna save, then we're gonna exit out of here, and basically all we need to do from here is just to open up Tink, like so, and we're gonna open up our edited trainers ROM, and we're just going to put the narcs back in here, just like we took them out. So we go A0, and for personal 016, 016, and we're just going to change file and go into our personal, and we're going to do personal.narc, and we're just going to open it. And then you could do the same thing for the others, then just hit save ROM, and once you're done with that, once it decides to do that, we can do, just call it a new ROM, so black 2 edited trainers and moves, personal, and evolutions. You can have pretty big names. I just like doing that because it helps me keep track of what I've just done, and I can hit save. And that's really all there is to it. And in the future I will go over how to change level up learn sets, as well as how to change Pokemarts. So I hope this video helped you. If it did, leave a like and drop a sub. I'm going to be doing more of this content going forward, so any other questions you have about how to change stuff, let me know in the comments, and I'd love to go over that. So have a great day.